Hello everyone and welcome to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes lead. I'm Saar, your host for today, and I'm joined by a known guest here on the podcast to talk about women's cycling. Let's get started. Ready? Hi everyone and welcome to episode 58 of She Rides. After quite a long break, we're back. Again with an Italian. Actually, we're staying in the same atmosphere, but it's quite an iconic guest for us, I think, because it's our second ever guest on the podcast who's back here to talk a bit about what happened between this and I think it was it November 2025 four
I
somewhere like
believe
that.
so. I think so.
Yeah, I think the end of November. So it's quite a long time. I think we can talk about quite a bit. But first of all, hi.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to be back.
Yeah. I'm super happy as well. I know Christoph is as well, but he has a team building, so he can't be here today. It's super nice you're back. Yeah, first of all, how are you doing right now?
Well, I'm actually quite good, enjoying all the new trainings and things I'm doing. So everything is new, and try to enjoy the process that fits me way better than the life I was doing before. So quite happy about that. Yes.
Yeah, I think they're changed quite a lot, so we will go over everything one by one. Well, last time you were on the podcast, you told us about your heart, of course, and like the stress and uncertainty about it. What happened in the weeks after the conversation?
So that winter, I stopped completely for months, actually, till my exams were fine and I was able to ride again safely. And then after that, I did a bit longer break just because the doctor told me that as much I would have rest in a moment and as like I would have less possibility to get back that problem in the future. So I just rested more. Hopefully that would help to not have to deal with that anymore in the future. So I went back riding. That was actually end of February, beginning of March, with the only goal to go to America. Was the thing last summer, because it was something I was postponing from so many years, because I always thought was something I was gonna do at the end of my career. But of course, when I had the problem with my heart, I felt that was very unpredictable. So I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna do it because I don't want that something is gonna stop my cycling career. And I've never done it because I was waiting for who knows what. So I just started training, and actually I went to America with the more or less 100 days of training. So not so much, but I really want to go. And of course I was really happy to just go back racing. And at the end it went much better than what I thought. It went as I hoped, but not as I thought it would gone, because of course with that little training was quite hard to start racing again. But yeah, I really liked the races. I did 2 months, then I went back home, and then I came back for another month because I enjoyed the first travel very much, and also had quite good support from the team I was racing for there. So yeah, at the end, the problem with my heart were put in the side, luckily still now. So yeah, I could enjoy the whole summer of racing. And yeah, I wish to go back to America, but now everything is a bit changing again, to see how these months are going, to figure it out if I can go back or I have to focus on something else.
Yeah. We'll go back to America in a bit, but how was that period? Because of course, between like let's say November and the summer, there's quite a long period. So part was training, part was resting and waiting. Basically, how was that for you?
I think in that moment I really realized we don't have nothing under control. I'm always the type of person that I like to have everything under control. I like to have my life planned. But when something like that happened, first of all, I really realized what mattered in life, because it happened also again in the summer that I had some problem in a race, like mechanical problem, and I was so mad and frustrated because I couldn't fight for the win. And then afterwards, like a couple of hours later, I was just thinking about that in that winter before, I would have wished that my only problem was like be mad because I couldn't fight for the victory, while I was trying just to fight to be alive mostly.
Yeah.
And hoping that one day I could be just ride my bike just to go to grocery, So for sure that period was super hard, because of course I couldn't train, but I couldn't mostly trust my body. And for
Yeah.
an athlete, that's just the most awful thing you can have, because I overcome a lot of injuries and problems in the years, but that one was the worst, just for the fact there is something you can't control, because breaking a bone or have a general problem,
Yeah.
you get a surgery or you rest, you recover, and you're gonna be fine again most of the time. But with the heart, that's the only muscle we don't
Mhm.
command. So I just needed to have trust in time and
Mhm.
hope that my body will heal. And that was crazy and hard to do, because you don't really have
Mhm.
power of controlling anything. Because the heart just do its job, and it doesn't matter what your brain tells you how to do. It is gonna do its own stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was that thing was very hard for so many months, just having a belief in
Yeah.
the power of my body to heal, and hope
Mhm.
that was going to happen. So of course, luckily Oscar was racing, so I was still going to races and be part of
Mhm.
it. Also, if from the outside, of course, that's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, because you realize even more that you are not doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the same times I was quite relieved, because before that I had a very bad period of feeling when riding my bike and racing, because I
Yeah.
couldn't perform. And when I got to know that was because something was happening, I was a bit of relief, because I was like, okay, I'm not just shit, but actually
Yeah.
something is happening. But then, of course, after that, I was like, okay, but the thing is happening is something quite big and I didn't expect. So I
Mhm.
remember the day they told me, I was just like, what? How can that
Mhm.
be? Like,
Yeah.
I can't really understand. Yeah, those were quite hard months of just waiting and waiting and waiting, and mostly questioning myself if I would never wanted also to go back riding or do sports, because I put my life on risk, and I knew and
Mhm.
I know that can come back. And we hear so many athletes that have problems of the same kind, and some of them are not here anymore, and sometimes I think like that could have been me. So that's a bit scary, but at the same time, that has always been my life and is what I like to do. So till the doctor says that is okay, like I'm kind of in the range of
Yeah.
safe, then I will keep doing. And if one day
Mhm.
they will tell me that's too risky, then I will just say okay.
Mhm.
I've done it till I could, but yeah, I think mentally it was very hard, and I doubt a
Yeah.
lot about myself if I would have the strength to fight
Mm.
again to go back, because I didn't really have control of this thing, and I was very scared about it. Also, the first period I was going back to train, every time I was feeling my heart going a bit high, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, but was it beating in the same way before when it was going high? Am I doing
Mhm.
something wrong? There is something, like, I was so scared every time
Yeah.
I was, going over a bridge, that my heart rate was going a bit more higher than, I don't know, zone one.
Yeah.
I was just, oh my God, oh my God, was it doing the same sound before? Because I was just so scared for everything,
Yeah.
mostly. So it took a lot of months to build the confidence again that I wasn't hurting myself doing
Mhm.
activity. So yeah, that was very hard.
Mhm. Yeah. But I think it's quite a scary feeling if something was wrong with your heart. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, of course, in sports it's and in life as well, it's quite necessary. So yeah. But after that heavy period, you kind of realized your own American dream. Like apart
Yeah.
from like I would say performances that went how you hoped, but not what you expected. So better actually. How just was like the racing and like yeah, how was it there? How different was it from racing in Europe?
It's completely another world. You have to think about Americans, like people that like to have shows. So I would say remind me a bit of like 6 days words, where you're actually performing. You're not just racing.
Mm.
Of course, they are real races, and I like them so much more just because how they are. So it's usually is around 1 hour race, 1 hour 15 minutes in a circuit that can go between I don't know 800 meters to 2 kilometers. That's more or less the range all
Mhm.
the races are. So it's crits, so all out intermediate sprints every second lap and stuff like that with money. And so people are going all out because, of course, there are quite big money, especially for the intermediate sprints. So the speed is always high. And sometimes people ask me, but how is the level of the girls that race there? And I always reply, maybe if you put them in a normal road race, they wouldn't perform, but they are so good at that because they do that's the cycling they live off in America. So of course they are all the people that does create, they are very good at that because they just do that. So it's a different type of effort compared to normal races, of course, where you have to perform in 3-4 hours. There is it's just keep changing your speed and just going all out basically for 1 hour, and then most of the times it ends up in a sprint. So for me that's also very good because I can just kind of rest for the whole race as much as I can. And then when it's, I don't know, 5-6 laps to go, I'll try to go to the front and fight the position for the sprint. And it's also much different compared to a road sprint where you can have long straights for, I don't know, 2-3 kilometers. There in 2-3 kilometers, you maybe have done 2-3 laps. So there are so many corners, and so driving skills and ability in being in the group is much more important than have power a lot of times, because again, I didn't have that good shape, but as I'm quite good at moving in the bunch and I'm not scared to fight for position, I was always able to get the last corner. That is actually where the race is ending most of the time, because the last corner is so close to the finish line that if you get the last corner in a good position, more or less you will always end up in that position. One more, one less. It doesn't change so much. So I had much fun because, of course, it's not just about legs, but also about being able to ride. And of course, all the big races are in city parties and festivals. So there are a lot of people, there are a lot of food trucks, beer. It's just another kind of, maybe more like will be, I think, the cyclocross in Belgium when they do big races. That is more like a party with people riding bikes.
How was the experience in general, apart from the racing?
I think actually it was very good. Again, I was very lucky with the team. I was there that actually was racing for them on the track the years before. That's Pickle Juice team. So yeah, I spent a lot of time with the team owner in his house, and he has a great family. So that was also quite a nice experience, and that's also why they want me to come back, because I was kind of part of the family. I went in holiday with them, and a lot of extra cycling related stuff. So that was super nice. I got to do also a lot of travels because I was based in Texas, but I went to race in California, Illinois, Wisconsin. Did most of the races going actually alone, so just flying to the other state and rent a car and go around to do races. So that was quite an adventure also. Took a lot of energy out of me, just also to planning everything, because I was in the other side of the world, not really knowing what I was doing. So I had to plan every day, also because the big races you race maybe 10 days in a row in different places every day. So it's kind of a stage race. You have to plan how to move, when to go to the race, and get your energy, get your eyes, because it was super hot and all this stuff. So once again was a test of independency for myself and reliable on myself and all this stuff. So I did enjoy that quite a lot. Also, if it had more, of course, fatigue and stress at the end, but it's part of it. And yeah, I got to see a lot of places and meet a lot of nice people, so that was very nice.
Do you have a single best memory from the whole experience?
Good question. I don't know. No, I think there are too many different ones, but yeah, I think
also
maybe
just pick one of the many.
Yeah. I think maybe like when there were the races that were actually quite hard, because there were races that had climbs, that kind of climbs that if you have in a road race, you don't even feel them. But if you do them every 30 seconds, you die. And there was one day that I survived. We were racing 1 hour and 15 minutes. And usually when you are about 15 laps to go, they start to put the lap count. So I remember that day that every lap I was getting dropped and I was about to die every lap, about to giving up. And at one point I saw the lap count starting, but that still means that it's missing half an hour. So it's still a lot of time. But I was like, oh no, there are the lap counts. Now I really need to survive to the end, because usually I will always DNF today. So I need to keep going. And at the end, I think I got one of my best placements, but I was completely done at the end of the race. But I was so happy because I didn't give up. And then, the day after that was quite nice and flat. I was completely fucked from that day. So then I regret that. choice, but I think it was a nice memory because I really went so deep. And at the end, it went better than what I thought. So I was a bit of self-knowledge about, okay, I can do more than what my brain thinks I can do. So I think that was one of the nicest memory because on the paper that kind of day I would always say it like, no, okay, I go back to home. I don't race today. Bye. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. Well, after that, of course, we saw you in the winter track racing. Yeah, you could say 6 days, 3 days, whatever works. How are those for you?
So this year with the track, I had kind of bittersweet feeling because, of course, I don't have the preparation to be competitive in the endurance races anymore because the level is growing so much, and I didn't train for that specific stuff this year. And I really feel my body can't really hold on anymore. So I just told myself to do all the 6 days just because they are more fun than doing UCI races. So I didn't do any of the UCI because I don't really want to go races where I know I'm not able to stay on the wheel because that's very frustrating. Also because I've never been the champion, but I've always been someone that can fight for the podium most of the races. So as always, I had a lot of fun 6 days, but mostly for the people around and for the races itself. But I did also start to feel a bit better in the last ones that I could actually try to kind of race sometimes and not just trying to survive. So I saw a bit of light, but still not enough to make me want to fight to go back where I was because I know it's gonna be almost impossible. And even if I can get back where I was, I will say when I was doing medals in the Nations Cup, that's still not enough now. Like if I get back to that level, still means that you're not competitive right now. So yeah, doesn't make much sense anymore for me.
Yeah. So double feeling this year.
Yeah,
on the track.
definitely. Yeah, it's always nice to be around, but right now I wasn't enjoying very much being riding the the races.
Yeah, we will go over to what's next maybe for you later on. But first, yeah, you've also been working you've been making more content and including explanation videos about the track racing and stuff like that. Do you want to tell us why you decided to start these?
Yes. So I started a bit the YouTube channel last year when I started to train again after the problem with my heart, mostly for a bit of my personal diaries, because then I could look back and see how far actually I came from that 0 point. And so I was showing all the process that took me back racing. And then after that, when I realized how much I was struggling racing on the track, and this was making me feel even worse because I always loved track cycling so much. It's always been my favorite thing to do. And feeling so bad racing it really destroyed me inside because I was like, this is something I loved all my life and I still love, but right now I can't enjoy it, doing it. But then I realized that I do enjoy talking about it and I do enjoy make people love it. So what I'm trying to do now is just explain track cycling to people because then hopefully they will be able, when they watch, I don't know, Worlds and Europeans or the Nations Cup, so the races that are actually going on TV, understand actually what's going on and maybe get in love a bit more with track cycling. So I'm just trying to explain people why I do love track cycling so much, despite my performances lately. So yeah, I just started this because also with GCN, they gave me the space to talk about track cycling because nobody, especially in Italy, really loved disciplines when our champions wins. But besides that, nobody really do track cycling and nobody speaks about it and nobody really knows what people are winning. They know they wins medals, don't really know what that means. So my goal is trying to be the person, not because I think I'm the right one, but because there is nobody doing it and I want someone to do it. So I'm starting this. I want to be the person that when people have questions about track cycling or want to learn something, they can come to me, ask me, or text me and make me question that I can reply on because, of course, I've been doing this since my whole life, and I have a lot of
Mhm.
experience, international experience, because I've raced all over in the world, and I've been the only Italian actually doing the track that is not Worlds, Europeans, and Nations Cup. And I do like to communicate. So, of course, people maybe would like to ask to the Ganna of the situation or one of the goals, but maybe they can't because they don't need to communicate to them, and maybe they don't want to. But I have this, I don't know, needs inside to make people connect with track cycling. So also if I'm not a big figure, so famous, I just want to be a figure that people can trust and rely on. If they have a question, they can ask me because I have the knowledge to reply with the knowledge. Like, I know what I'm saying, so they can ask me and I can tell them. So that's the real purpose of everything. And besides that, what I always will try to do, I didn't start yet because I'm trying to organize all the content, is to have like an album or something of interview of the track riders, but not cycling related interviews, but personal related interview. So because my goal is to have a portfolio for the riders, because I don't do this for me. I want to do this to try to make track cycling more interesting for sponsor and people. So when people see someone winning a world championship and they Google their name, I would like that they just don't find their results, but they also find a video of this rider saying, this is my name, this is what I like, you should follow me because this, and blah, 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 blah. And saying what is important for him or her for his person, not just as an athlete, like I want this, but actually who they are and why people should engage with them. Because that's something we miss. And also what I'm talking with a lot of riders on the track is the problem right now is us as a track riders, we don't make people willing to follow us. Because who, if not the riders, should say track cycling is amazing, you should come and watch. We have to do it, and nobody does it. Because besides posting the picture that you want to race, nobody is doing anything. And I feel this is it's really sad because track cycling has a lot of potential and could have a lot of more sponsor, more visibility and blah, blah, blah. But if as a riders, we don't start to make people willing to join us, watch us, nobody's going to do it. So that's my big goal. Of course, I'm small and I'm just one person, but just making all the riders, when I'm at the races, I talk about this, and actually everybody is agree. But of course, you need one person that start this thing, because otherwise nobody's going to do it. Everybody's going to tell you are right, but nobody's going to do anything about that. So my goal is really start to make track riders that actually love racing on the track, because that's a reality, saying that loud, telling to people, I love track cycling because this. So you should come, watch, invest money on track cycling because of this, and create story behind that, because that's what make, of course, sponsor and money. That's if come to the sport, then is everything is gonna be better for everybody, for the riders, for the organizers of events, for like, it's just a win. So it's a big dream and it's a big goal, but you always have to start from something to try to get anything. It's not that I want to do it alone. I just want to be the first one that make other people also realize, oh, maybe we do that, we can get something out of it. So again, I don't do it for me. I just to make people realize that there is a lot of potential, and I hopefully a lot of people will keep following the same path, doing the same thing as me, and then we can make this thing grow. Because again, track cycling for me is amazing, and also to watch is easier, faster, and more engaging maybe than more of the road races. Because to be fair, Tour de France or whatever, most of the stages you look the last 20Ks, 30Ks. Most of the times, because maybe nothing really important happened before. While in track cycling, you can have a race in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. You can go on a track even and watch 10 races in a day. So it's just another sport, of course, and it requires also more knowledge, because to know how who's winning and why, you need to know how the races works. But that's not so hard. But you need to make it simple for people that don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's my big goal. I know it's
Mhm.
I'm not the Eurosport or that kind of stuff, so it's gonna be hard. But again, you have to start from something, and maybe if you start to move the right path, then
Mhm.
someone will join, and then you have more power, and just keep going. I do it for the love of the sport, not for nothing else. So
Mhm.
I will never stop till
Yeah.
the love of for sport is gonna end.
Big goal, but very nice goal, I think. What do you feel is missing in how track cycling is presented to, let's say, cycling fans in general?
I think there is no connection to the riders
Mhm.
because okay, like with the road, you're doing a great job from women cycling on, especially for road, of course. So people can actually get to know the stories of the people and, get
Mhm.
in love with the rider and cheer for it because you are explaining what the rider is going through, what is the goals, and blah, blah, blah. On the track, you really just see the races when there are big races. You just see who
Yeah.
wins. Maybe they do a 30-second interview after the race and that's it.
Yeah.
So if you need to have the hero to follow, that can be the one that wins, so the last one. But if you don't get to know the story of the people, you will never do. Because for you, they're just name on a
Mhm.
screen. Or even worse, they are flag on a screen. Because when you do big races, you are a flag. People cheer you for you because you're
Mhm.
representing a country, not because you are yourself. So
Mhm.
for me, is the biggest gap. Because in road cycling, that doesn't happen. Like, people when go to worlds, they represent the nations, but the fans
Yeah.
know exactly who's racing. They know the riders. That doesn't happen on the track. On the track, if you are not really a track fan or riders, you just go for flags. And that's the biggest gap because the flag is there, but the people are racing are always changing and you don't even know. So how can a fan get engaged to a story if they don't know it? So I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest problem. And again, that needs to come from the riders because if I don't explain the people why they should cheer for me or whoever,
Mhm.
how they can figure that out. It's impossible. So
Mhm.
of course, yeah, we should do it. Use UCI, but that's is gonna be quite impossible at least now. I saw they are trying to do some explanation of video, like in the social profile when they do like
Mhm.
rules. They try to do okay. This is a point race. Every 10 laps, sprint points, blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
they are trying a bit to make it simple, but I really believe it needs to be more work on it. But I mean, they have so many different type of cycling they have to promote in their profiles and
Mhm.
social. So I get that, yeah, the main focus is not explaining track cycling or get to the track stories because at the end of the day, it was making track events interesting. The road riders, famous road riders that come to race on the track, then the track
Mhm.
gets interesting because people know the riders from the road.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
a bit sad because there are a lot of track cyclists that are even better on the track than road cyclists, but you don't know them because
Mhm.
they're just track related. So if you're not a track fan, then you don't know them.
Yeah, that's very good thinking there, I think. So yeah, we hope you can work a bit on that, and then everyone follows in the big project that that would be good. Yeah, then we have some track racing coming in the near future. So do you already have like this track cyclist people should really know about right now and why?
I wanted to try to start to do some interview this winter, but then
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't plan it in the races, so I need to put down, I think,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a set of video to do like fixed question for everybody. Then it's easier
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
plan and do with riders. Of course, I already asked to someone, and of course, the girls are always willing
Mm-hmm.
before the men to get interview and be
Yeah.
able to put their face on something like that because yeah, they're just more clever. So of course, I already spoke with a lot of girls on the track, and they are all very
Mm-hmm.
enthusiastic to be. Yeah, to give me the possibility to interview them because that's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and make them more visible. But yeah, with the men, I know it's gonna be a bit harder because they're men. But yeah, my goal is just with all my profiles because also with Instagram and everything. Because of course, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
one of the strongest one, but for sure I have one of the most the biggest audience, and I
Mm-hmm.
want just to use them for others to give them more possibility to get visibility for them to then build something for themselves. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to explain. But yeah, I need to put down some a plan because I had too many things to record and do this month and I couldn't figure it out this one yet. But it's something that's gonna happen and yeah, I wanna do it and I want the faces of the people on this thing and yeah, I'm really being able to give space to the riders because they just deserve it.
That's nice. Well, something we also talked about last episode, actually. This season was one without your best friend, of course, and you said like, I don't really like this. It's gonna be so different. So yeah, how did the dynamic change and how was it?
I don't think I will ever get over it, you know. It's I think that was one of the things that made me not enjoy also racing on the track anymore because I didn't have results. Well, more than results, I didn't felt great on riding. Most of it, Madison was my favorite race. And since I don't have my partner anymore to race with, I wasn't motivated to do Madison because every time I'm racing with someone I don't know and I don't really, you know, much about it. And I just don't, yeah, I don't care so much about the race anymore because when you are racing with a friend, you know, you do it for you, but you do it for the other. And of course, also not doing medicine with the same power as before mentally and still not feeling great. Everything together was just like, yeah, I think I'm quite over to this kind of racing.
Yeah.
So it's all our fault, I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I think the big news we're working towards now has finally arrived. So no more endurance, but you're switching to sprint. How? Yeah, when did the idea of switching came up?
So I think when I was like 13 or something, I just never had the braveness, maybe a bit. And at the same time, I mean, if I could have picked when I was junior, I would have done it. But at that moment, there wasn't really a program in Italy. And at the same time, there were not so many races in the season. So if you wanted to race on the track, you couldn't do sprint because you couldn't just race. And after that, of course, you know what people tell you, you have to do road, if you want to do cycling, you have to do road. And if you do road, then you do endurance. That's it. So that's the way they tell you to go. And to be honest, at the end, I got to the national team. I did the medals in the Nations Cup as endurance. So I wasn't that bad. But of course, I always knew inside myself, I always joked about with the people that knows me. They know that is since ever that I'm joking about, oh, maybe I just switched to sprint. But it's something I've always been joking about. But inside of myself is something I always wanted to do. But of course, Miriam Vece was the only sprinter that was in Italy. And she was in the UCI track center because in Italy we didn't have the sprinter program. So yeah, it's always been something there, you know. I was like, yeah, when I stop, I will just switch to sprinter because that's something I like to do. It's funny. And then this year, you know, everything together, I was putting all the ideas together where I reached the point and I was like, okay, right now, or I really fully commit and I try to get back in a level where I can actually compete, then it makes sense. Or I stop with track cycling. And the third option that was very well hid was maybe I try to switch to sprinter. So I spoke with the national coach more as because I know him from so many years, even before he was the national coach.
Yeah.
So I wanted just a thought from someone that know what I'm talking about, knows me, and know what is actually the plans of the national team and future. So yeah, I spoke with him and I was just like really honest, saying, do you think I can go back in a level where I can be competitive on the endurance? Because otherwise I think I want to stop. But also the other option I have in my mind is switching to sprint because it's something I really wanted always to do, but I never really had the balls to do, honestly. And I'm getting, you know, every year I'm getting older, so still it's quite a change, and I'm quite old to change. But yeah, so it just told me, of course, he believes that I can go back in a competitive level as endurance. It's gonna take me a bit and a lot of efforts, but at the same time, you know, in Italy we have the world champions on the track. So also if you get back in a competitive level, I don't do TP, so I would never be able still to get to major races. And in Italy, I will still be like number, I don't know, 9, 10, something like that. things that I never really worried about because I always knew it. All these girls have my same age, so I'm racing against them. Still, I was 6. But at the same time, so I was like, I know though what I will need to work to try to get there, and I'm not so sure to get it because my body is keep getting sick all the time. I try to do more hours of training and stuff like that. And so I told him, so I was maybe thinking I should try to go sprinter. And he was like, well, it was about time that you were making that decision, because he always told me when we were doing also individual stuff, so high B, stuff like that, he was always telling me, are you sure you want to say you're not a sprinter? Because my numbers have always been better in the short stuff compared to the endurance one. Also, when I was doing the TP efforts, I was very good P1, but then I couldn't do anything else. So it was like, I really believe you should go all in now, because they are trying to build a team sprint for LA. Now there is Miriam and 2 young girls that they were juniors last year, and they won Worlds as juniors, and that's it. So it was like, of course, it's gonna be a big change, but your body's always been more happy to do stuff like that compared to endurance, and also my mind, to be honest. And I was like, well, okay. So of course, he's not the coach of the sprinter, he's just the coach of the goals. So he told me just call the coach of the sprinters and have a chat with him, and we see what can happen. But he just told me, yeah, don't wait any more time, because it's now or now. Because now is the right moment if you really want to do it, to try to do something good, something big also. So I called the sprinter coach, and the week after I was doing some tests with them on the gym. They went good. So after that, I started to get training from them. So now I'm coached by the national team. I'm not training with them right now. I'm training mostly in Denmark because I have the track close to home, while where the national team training is quite far away from my house in Italy. And also I need to get used to all the efforts before I can actually start to train with them. I just went to do second test, was this week, the other day, on the gym, to see how everything is going. And actually the personal trainer was quite happy because I did improve a lot in just 3 weeks of training. And I just really feel like my body is finally happy with what I'm doing, because it's always been easier for me to do as bike and also gym stuff. So yeah, now I'm just going all in and see what's coming out. And one day I'm just thinking that maybe I was trying to get qualified for Olympic. That will be already a big goal. Then if I can do it, then it's gonna be even bigger. But just the thing that I'm actually thinking that I could make it, that's already a big goal, considering what I was fighting against this summer when I was racing on the track. I'm quite old for, of course, this change, but I also know that there's always something I had inside, and I was already quite decent at it. I wouldn't say good, because that's very high level, but decent at it. So I'm trying to get good and see what's coming out, and I'm actually quite excited about, and we will see. Now it's going quite good. And also I think the first phase is always the nicest one, because you should get a lot of improvement quite easily.
Well, so happy for you. I think you made a good decision if I hear you talking about it right now. Yeah, what are do you already have like some main goals in mind for, like, let's say, like, yeah.
So I will start to race, but the first races I think in May as a sprinter, just to start to see how it is, and but not really as a goal, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say the goal it's for the end of the year, trying to get the times that are needed to make it to the squad. Maybe, I don't know, for Worlds or Europeans next spring or February, whenever Europeans is gonna be. So that will be crazy, honestly. But sometimes I feel a bit. It feels a bit strange. That's what I'm aiming for and I'm working for, because I'm inside myself. I'm still, putting myself very low. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just working on this. But actually, what I'm working for is to get to the squad for Olympics. So, of course, the steps before I get into Worlds and Euros. But inside of me, I'm like, I don't know if I should say that loud because
Yeah.
it's a big thing, and but yeah, that's actually what it is. And I think maybe saying that aloud will help me to realize that I'm actually working for it. So yeah, that I think could
Yeah.
be my goal.
Well, super nice. So we have actually some track racing coming up very soon. Is it the 1st of February? I think so. So
Yeah, I
it's
think so. The Europeans.
yeah, so it's like what is it, like 1 week exactly. So yeah, what should the fans be paying attention to? Now there's track cycling on the TV. I think it's quite easily to now find it on your TV if you're following cycling a bit.
So I didn't saw the start list yet because they're not out. But I guess that not a lot of road cyclists will be there because they are starting the season. So I think most of them will be forced by the road team to race on the
I
road.
can tell you about the road. So Kopecky, Bosset are racing. Wiebes isn't. Julie van der Molen is doing I think she's doing 4 disciplines. And Misha
Well,
Bredewold is
she
gonna
is
be
flying,
part of
so
the team
I
pursuit.
hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. She's also a podcast guest, so it's super
Yeah.
nice. She gets this opportunity. She's doing the Madison with Lisa van Belle.
Okay.
That were the selections I saw. I don't know, for Belgium, I think.
Yeah, no, for the
And then
Italians,
there's Katrijn de Klerk again.
they are all young ones. I believe there is just Federica
Mhm.
Venturelli of the team pursuit of the world champion. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Julia is one to look at because
Yeah.
I think the last year I've been racing with her so many times this winter. And I have to say she is another rider, and I'm actually so happy, of course, for everybody that knows what she has been through. It's just
Yeah.
you cannot be cheering for her, and seeing how strong she's going is just insane. And of course, seeing people overcome stuff and then get back competitive. I
Yeah.
also did it a bit on my own, but that's gives me even more willing and strength to try even more because it's just motivating seeing people that get through hard stuff and then gets back there. Or also if they don't get through hard stuff, but they are able to build up year by year and just keep going, and at the end they get out of something. So that's just motivating also for everyone else. Actually, also my change. So I saw Kelsey Mitchell she won Olympics
Yeah.
and now she's going Winter Olympics in the bobsledding. So I also texted her a lot and I was like, I think also you gave me a bit of braveness on trying to get sprinter because she's even older than me and she's changing completely sport.
Yeah.
And
It's
she's
even
going
a
to
bigger
Olympics.
change.
So I did text her and I was like, thank you, because you gave me a lot of confidence that I can actually do it. It's never too late, to try to do something. So yeah, that's something crazy and so inspirational, and yeah, I love to see that.
Well, you didn't really look at the participants list yet, but do you have a hot take going into the Euros?
Well, I will say Julie for sure. I think I will say look at her because I think I hope she's gonna do something very good in everything she's gonna race. Of course, the Madison with Elisa Van Bell is gonna be quite a good pair. I will say the TP also look for a Swiss girl because they are going better every year. And I saw also Michelle Andres that she's just also back from a health problem, surgery and stuff. And I saw her racing this winter. And, a month after she got the surgery, she was flying around on the track. So that's also another one that I would hope that she can get something out of these Europeans after she had to skip Worlds for this problem. And then, of course, always GB. Doesn't matter who they are bringing to races, you always have to look up for them. I think Belgium probably are taking also the young ones. You were saying? Probably.
Can look, it's for sure Kopecky, Bosset. I think Hesters and de Klerk as well.
If they're doing the Madison, then of course is the comeback of the couple, isn't? I think it's the first Madison
so.
they're doing from
Worlds last year. Yeah, they will. I think they will do like the Belgian Championships this weekend, but it's like I think with 3 duos. It's the Madison, so but like the big comeback, I think. But
Yeah,
like
because
the
last time they
separate
raced together
numbers are
was
like
the
not announced, but
okay. Yeah, because last time,
I
I
think
mean,
so.
they were world champion together when then she had to stop.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a nice comeback, and they are both, of course, strong riders. So I think the Madison actually is gonna be a very nice race to watch because
Mm-hmm.
there are gonna be a lot of good pairings, and it's gonna be interesting to figure it out who's gonna win. Also because Madison, for me,
Mm-hmm.
is the best races because you never know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen because not always the strongest win. You always need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why. So I think the Madison is gonna be the biggest race of the week of the Euros, and I'm quite curious to
Mm-hmm.
see who's gonna actually get the stars.
I'm looking forward. I think we all are right now. We also have some latest news to recap. Let's start with bits of cyclocross. So I think it was 2 weeks ago we had the national championships, bit of everywhere in Europe. The most important ones, Alvarado surprisingly took the win. No Brand, she had an off day that day. We had Marion Norbert-Brol who took the win in Belgium just before no, there was quite a gap in the end. Before Fleur Moors, it was, I think, Celia Géry who became French champion, which was also a surprise, like a slight surprise, I would say. But then we had Benidorm, the most unlike cyclocross of cyclocrosses normally. But this year, like the parkour was changed a little bit, and there was actually some mud, so it was a bit more cyclocross-like, you could say, this year. But Brand's off day wasn't there anymore, so she took the win before Alvarado and Fukune. Zimanova again solid in the top 10, and then Schreiber, Vos, Pakstedt, the road riders, you could say, also in the top 10. Then we had the kickoff of the road cycling season, which I am very excited about. Very sad that we've been counting on the podcast days till it happened, and then just before I got ill and wasn't able to do a preview. But yeah, it is what it is. So we had 3 stages. So the first one was Port Wollonga, misleading because they didn't finish on Wollonga Hill. And the first stage, we had someone solo break. It was Vigilia, who also
Yeah, she
took
got
the
caught
Queen of the
right at
Mountains
the end.
jersey, but right at the end, indeed, she got caught. That was very sad for her. But in the end, Ali Wollaston won before,
Yeah,
who was it? Ruek, probably? Or
yeah. I think Rueg was
I
second.
need to find. I'm just trying to open this one. No. She was fourth.
Oh, then was
It
the day
was
after. I think
Wollaston
she got
before
second.
Josie Nelson, of course.
Oh yeah,
And then Femke Gerritsen. So it was the most sprint-like stage. But still, you're like seeing it's not like completely sprint because we have Mavi Garcia and Dominika Vlodarczyk on 10. Something that was like jumped out for me was Fien van Eyne making her World Tour debut for Phoenix Premier Tech. Last year she was with their development team, and the first 2 stages immediately she got into the top 10. Then also for Sophie Edwards, who was racing with Australia, also did 2 top 10s, which was quite impressive. Then that day we also saw Paula Blasi, she rides guest, of course, competing in the sprints for the Queen of the Mountains jersey. Of course, Vigilia was still away, so not much happened there. But she continued day, and well, that went super well because she took the Queen of the Mountains jersey. It was also quite a funny image of seeing her sprint against the super small Gaia Realini, which was very, very funny. Vigilia was also sprinting, but yeah, Paula did super great. Then we again had so we had Wilma Eintela, I think, in the front, but it was like somewhat obvious she wasn't as committed as Vigilia. She got caught by a bit earlier, but also had quite a big solo again. You could say that maybe happens when you don't let Conti teams participate in World Tour races anymore, but we'll just leave that here. Maybe if we're in Europe and we get some of the pro teams, we will see more of a real proper breakaway. But yeah, still not the biggest fans of not allowing Conti teams anymore. But yeah, what can we change about it? Nothing. So we had Ali Wollaston winning the stage. There was something like the whole stage race. She was talking about how she wasn't feeling very confident and was not feeling very good. So it was very like cool of her that she was so like open in the interviews and really talked about it. But in the end, she could take those 2 stage wins. Here was Noemi Ruek second and the young
Yeah.
Josie Nelson again on 3. And then Paula Blasi on 4, which was super cool. Then Vlodarczyk, Rose McGannon, Manley, Nina Buisman also want to look out for this season because she was also securing a lot of very strong results. Then Van Meijden and then Marie Garcia. Well, then we had the last stage, which was the heaviest. So no Willunga Hill this year, but there was Corkscrew Road, which was quite a heavy stage. So I'm not sure. I don't think was there a break out. Can't recall anymore.
I'm not sure about.
Anyways, the day before there was a break, by the way, and I was like a bit frustrated because just like after the QM sprint that Paula won, there was a break going out with both Paula and Julie van der Velde in there, but they didn't go out, and then it was the other break which made it quite far with Benito. But then this day, I'm not too sure actually. The thing I knew was on Corkscrew Road. We had a very, very strong performance of the UE girls with Marie Garcia, Paula Blasi, Dominika Vlodarczyk. The 3 of them rode away with Sarah Van Dam, I think. No, at that time, Paula Blasi wasn't there, so it was Vlodarczyk and Marie Garcia with Sarah Van Dam. But Vlodarczyk attacked and she went away, so then they were doing some good teamwork and they let then try to bridge it with Garcia and the wheel. But that didn't really end up working. So like the group behind it, they came back. But then I would say, yeah, I was questioning a bit what Marie Garcia was doing there because Vlodarczyk had still kind of had a small gap. And then we saw the 2 other UE riders bridge to her while you would maybe let Ruek do it.
Yeah.
And then you had Paula attack, and Marie Garcia was just like closing the attack / following her. But I was like, you're in the peloton for quite a while. Maybe you should know that it might be a good idea to like just. It was the last part of the Corkscrew Road, so the last heavy part where you could try to break Ruek because you know she's definitely the strongest. And then because I don't know, I think you want to just win yourself. I think you just bridged the gap, which was quite painful. And then like they tried to drop Ruek in the descent, but I
Didn't
think it
work.
was from the beginning quite obvious. It wasn't
that she
really
was going to
gonna
win.
work out. And then the sprint was so odd. Like it was like they didn't really know when the sprint was coming or something like that. And then we had Marie Garcia like putting her hands in the air and stuff, and then weird. But Ruek won the stage and the GC. Before 3 UE riders, we had Marie Garcia on 2. So at least she became the first UE rider. We have Paula Blasi on 3 and Dominika Vlodarczyk on 4. But super strong performance from Paula. It's her first GC World Tour podium and a KOM jersey as a whole. Just, I would expect some better tactics from Marie Garcia after all those years. But
it was a very confusing
we'll just
final.
We will say she just needs to get used to the new team.
Maybe she forgot the jersey she was wearing.
Yeah. So Van Dam still got 5th. Vlodarczyk, I think the best was off after that whole solo attack. But she still got 4th in the GC in the end. We have Nina Buisman who got 6th in that stage, Ella Wiley on 7, Miria Benita on 8, Amanda Spratt on 9, and another she rides Lotte Klaas on 10. Which she was like kind of off the radar, but still like without really anyone noticing her, became 10th. Just to complete the she rides Julie van der Velde got 16th and Petra Stjasny was a DNF. But it was super exciting racing. Like if you rewatched it or you watched it during the night, it was really worth it because it was some exciting racing. And yeah, I think we've seen here like a few names who we're gonna see back later on this year. Like, of course, like Ruek Garcia, Vlodarczyk, we knew them already, but like you shouldn't be surprised if you see like Paula Blasi, Nina Besman, and others like returning into the result sheets the coming months. So that was a super exciting race. We also had the Tour Down Under Women 1 day race. I also saw something on their stories that they call it like the Vanguard thing. It was basically like a very flat race with lots of laps, but still there was really some like active racing. A lot of the time they were like trying to get away, and it kind of worked out. There was for a while a big group in there, like everyone there. We had like climbers who were trying to get into the break, but we also had like the sprinters themselves. So that was exciting. And in the end, sadly, there were a lot of crashes. Like for example, Chloe Dygert crashed and she had a lot of stitches. She needed a lot of
Yeah, so she
stitches
posted a
in the leg.
story
Yeah.
today that she's gonna take even more day off because I don't know. For
Uh,
the recent scans, she said something about that she's gonna take some day off, even more.
Lots of crashes. Also, Fien van Eyne who crashed. Like it looked quite bad, like wounds kind of everywhere, but no, nothing broken. But in the end, although there were a lot of crashes, a super beautiful win for Maggie Colslister, who's finally back after. So beautiful comeback for her. We had Ruek again, very consistent on 2, then Leg on 3, Melanie on 4, and Bertizola on 5. In Australia, I think there's 2 more races coming up: the Surf Coast Classic, I think, and then as well as the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race. So that's coming up in Australia. This weekend we have 3 days of racing. In Mallorca is this Rio Challenge Mallorca that are 3 separate races, but still like following each other's up like a stage race. So there kicks off the European season with 4 She Rides guests at the start: Margot van Pachtenbeke, Carolina Perikitko, Sigrid Haugset, and Kat Ferguson. Some of them are not doing all, but just so you know. And then we also have some cyclocross this weekend with Maasmechelen and Hogerheide. So yeah, I think that was it for today. And I think from Christophe as well, and from me, all the best of luck with all the 5 million big projects that are coming up.
Yeah.
I hope all of them succeed in the near or further future.
Yeah, me too. Thank
So
you.
yeah, good luck with everything. And then for the listeners, we'll see or you'll hear us back soon, and we'll be starting our classics countdown with 4 episodes with guests centered around the classics. So we're very much looking forward to that. So that's a wrap for today's episode of She Rides. A huge thanks to Francesca for sharing her story. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube so you don't miss an episode. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners. Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates, and don't forget to check out our other episodes. Thanks for listening to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching and fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh.